let me share let me share the screen first. Okay, let's begin. Starting by the name of Allah, who is the most merciful and compassionate. No God deserves worship except Allah, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last prophet of Allah. Now, I would like all of you to give me full attention. Listen my words very carefully. Uh, be very alert to my every sentence. And wherever you feel you have problem and you do not understand, kindly ask me during my lecture, because I cannot read your messages while giving you the lecture, because the screen is already shared with you. So anyone who faces any kind of problem can ask me through voice, right? So I have prepared a chapter especially for screening test and one paper preparation for the English portion. And inshallah, it will be very, very, very effective for you. It will be very helpful for you. And there are so many topics I have gathered, and these all topics are related to the sentence correction and grammar portion. And this portion will definitely bring a lot of positive results for you. But once again, I request all of you to be very much alert, to be very much focused on my words, because my every word contains explanation. So let's begin. As it's clear like crystal that you are the part of Pakistan Institute of Computative Studies in a shape of student, and I'm your facilitator. I'm your trainer, and my subject is English. You all know that. So, first of all, what's our topic here? Our topic here is rules for subject and verb agreement. Rules for subject and verb agreement. What we are going to study today, we are going to study about subject and verb agreement today. As I told you earlier, that how can you understand whether the sentence is right or wrong? You can understand the right sentence and the wrong sentence by looking at the agreement between the subject and verb. A sentence can never be wrong because of the object. A sentence can never be wrong because of the complement. A sentence can never be wrong because of other parts of the sentence. A sentence can be right because of subject and verb agreement, and a sentence can be wrong because of subject and verb agreement. So therefore, it's very important for every English learner to understand some special rules regarding subject and verb agreement. And if you understand their agreement, you will never face any kind of problem in finding out the mistakes which are already given in a sentence which needs correction, and also making the right sentences. And inshallah, when I complete my lecture, I will also give you some tests for self assessments. So let's begin. Objective, there is no need to focus on the objective. You can read it when I share these notes with you. I directly start from rule number 1. First of all, dear students, you need to understand what is the meaning of, what is the exact simple meaning of subject and verb agreement. You all know that subject is the part of sentence. Verb is the part of sentence. Both of them have got different roles in a sentence. Subject has different role, verb has different role. And when the role of subject and the role of verb both come together, they create a statement. They create an idea. For example, a single subject like I, you, we, they, he, she, it. If I simply say no sheen, no sheen, no sheen, you may not understand what I mean by it. If I simply say study, talk, walk, play, clean, swim, you still don't understand what I mean. Why? Because subject is separate, it is not connected with the verb, and verb is also separate, it is not connected with any subject. So when subject and verb both have got no connection, they cannot produce the statement, they cannot produce the idea. For the production of statement, for the production of idea, the agreement and connection between subject and verb is very important. If they both agree each other, there will be idea. And do you know what is the basic what is the basic purpose of testing? What is the basic purpose of testing the student, especially in the portion of grammar or in the portion of sentence? The basic purpose of this is this, that if you become an officer or if you are hired, will you be able to properly write the reports or not? Will you be properly writing their objectives or not? Whether you know the way of communication or not, whether you can speak properly or not, whether you can write properly or not. So communication is very important for especially an officer who is sitting inside the office, and through his or her communication, they control all their official activities. Like you must be thinking that what is the need of improving grammar to become a CSS officer? What is the need of improving grammar to become a PMS officer? Grammar is improved. Grammar needs to be improved for any kind of officer because you need to have communication in your field work, and the proper communication and proper language needs proper grammar. So that's why you must give full uh, focus and priority to grammar. So what I was talking about, I was talking about the agreement between subject and verb. Alone subject is nothing, alone verb is nothing. But when they both come together, they create a statement, they create an idea. Therefore, subject needs to be agreed with the verb and verb needs to be agreed with the subject. How can you agree the subject with the verb? And how can you agree the verb with the subject? You can bring agreement between the subject and verb by using right verb after the right subject and following the right subject after the right before the right verb. If the verb has got no agreement with the subject, or if the subject has got no agreement with the verb, the sentence will lead to or sentence will be wrong. So see, there are different rules. What is rule number one about this particular topic? If the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. So sentences can come in front of you where subject will be singular and the verb will be plural. And if the subject is singular and the verb is plural, there will be no agreement with the subject and the verb. What do you have to do in this situation? In this situation, you will have to use the verb. One second. About rule number one. If the subject is singular, if the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. And if the subject is plural, the verb should also be plural. For example, he is a good boy. Here subject is singular. What is singular subject here? Singular subject is here he. So after singular subject he, the verb is is. If instead of he, if we have they, so they is plural. So after plural, what is used? Plural verb. After singular subject he, what is used? The verb is. So rule number one comes to an end, and it simply tells us that when the subject is singular, you will have to go for singular subject. And if the subject is plural, you will have to go to the plural verb. So now in screening test, what kind of questions may come? Questions can come like this, that she have, she have a book. So what's mistake here? Here mistake is this, that after the subject she, there is have. Have never comes with the singular subject. What is the right answer here? She has a book. So when there is they, after they, you cannot use is, they is, or they has. After they, you will say have. So whenever you want to see whether the sentence is right or wrong, you will have to see its subject. If the subject is singular, there must be singular verb after it. If the subject is plural, there must be plural verb after it. So this is the first step of subject and verb agreement. Use verb according to the number of subject. If subject is singular, go for the singular subject, singular verb. And if the subject is plural, you will have to go for the plural verb. So this is your rule number one. Now let's come to rule number two. When two or more singular subjects are joined together by and, what is used? Plural verb is used. So sometimes we don't have one subject in a sentence. Sometimes we have more than one subject. We can have two subjects. We can have three subjects. We can have four subjects. So in this situation, what do we have to do? We will have to see what is the word that is used between the subject. If there is and, when two or more singular subjects are joined together by and, what we will have to use? We will have to use plural verb. For example, Ram and Sham. Ram and Sham are playing a game, and his friends have arrived. So now in these both sentences, you see there are two subjects in every example. In sentence number one, first subject is Ram and the second subject is Sham. So there are two subjects. And how are they combined? They are joined by the conjunction and. You can see sentence number two. He and his friends. He is one subject and his friends, it is another subject. So when there are two subjects, so when one subject becomes two subjects, you will have to move to the plural one. So you have to be very careful about it. You don't have to become confused that Ram is a separate person, Sham is a separate person, Ram is singular, Sham is also singular. Why R is used here? Here is must be used, but is cannot come because Ram and Sham, both of them are joined. So this is rule number two. You have to be very careful about it. After rule number one and rule number two, we move to rule number three. If two singular nouns refer to the same person or thing, if two singular nouns refer to the same person or thing, the verb must be singular. So now you need to give attention or focus towards this rule. Sometimes we people become confused when we see that there are more than two nouns, three nouns, four nouns in the subject, and due to which we add plural verb. You have to see this that whether these nouns belong to one person or these nouns belong to different persons, whether these nouns belong to one thing or these nouns belong to other things, or whether these nouns belongs to one place or belong to many places. तो इसमें आपको भी यहाँ पर अलर्ट होना पड़ेगा. बाज़ औक़ात आप देखते हैं कि सब्जेक्ट में दो तीन नाउन है, तो क्या ये दो तीन नाउन एक ही शख्स के बारे में है या अलग अलग है. जिस तरह अभी एग्जाम्पल नंबर 2 में हमने देखा राम एंड श्याम. राम इज अ सेपरेट पर्सन and Sham is also a separate person. So Ram is for one person and Sham is for another person. So these are two nouns for two different people. But in example number 3, my friend and benefactor. My friend and my benefactor. So there is one person who is not only my friend, but also my benefactor. So benefactor is that person who is my friend, and my friend is that person who is benefactor. So these two nouns are for one person. These two nouns are what? For one person. So when these two nouns are for one person, we will have to use singular one. My friend and benefactor has come. If you are confused that here once again there is and, यहाँ पर तो and मौजूद है, तो यहाँ पर तो हैव आना चाहिए क्योंकि माय फ्रेंड ये अलग सब्जेक्ट हो गया एंड बेनिफिक्टर अलग सब्जेक्ट हो गया, तो यहाँ पर तो हैव आना चाहिए. सो दिस थिंग यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट, क्योंकि माय फ्रेंड एंड बेनिफिक्टर ये दो डिफरेंट नाउन तो है, लेकिन दोनों नाउन एक ही शख्स के बारे में. जिस तरह हम कहते हैं ना कि द फॉर्मर कैप्टन एंड प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान is Imran Khan. तो वो कैप्टन भी रह चुका है और वजीर आजम भी है. सो दीज बोथ नाउन्स आर फॉर वन पर्सन. अभी जिस तरह मैं कहता हूँ कि आई एम योर टीचर एंड योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड, मैं आपका टीचर भी हूँ और बेस्ट फ्रेंड भी हूँ. सो टीचर and best friend, these two nouns are for one person, right or not? For example, my daughter and my doll, my daughter and my doll is coming. So doll is not separate and daughter is not separate. They both are one person. So rule number 3 says that if two singular nouns refer to the same person or thing, the verb must be singular. तो ऐसे सवाल आपके स्क्रीनिंग टेस्ट में आ सकते हैं जहां पर आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए एंड का इस्तेमाल हुआ होगा. लेकिन आपको यहाँ पर इस कंफ्यूजन से नहीं होना. You will have to see whether these two nouns are for one person or these two nouns are for the two different persons. So it should be noted that the article is Auche. By the death of Gokhali, a great statesman and patriot was lost to India. So a great statesman and patriot. These both nouns are for one person who is Gokhali. Our word are for Gokhali. It should be noted that the article is used only once if the two nouns refer to the same person. अगर दोनों noun एक ही शख्स के बारे में use होते हैं, so you will have to use article for once. And if different persons were referred to, the article would be used for before each noun and the verb would be plural. अभी देखिए यहाँ पर by the death of Gokhali, a great statesman and patriot was, तो इसमें हमने article use किया है a great statesman and patriot. और patriot के आगे कोई article नहीं है, इसके आगे कोई article नहीं है. उससे मुराद ये है कि a great statesman and patriot, these both are for one person. Which person? Gokhali. Gokhali. अगर ये great statesman different separate person होता और patriot कोई different person होता, तो great के साथ भी article होता and patriot के साथ भी अलग article होता. So for your further information, if you see that article is used with one noun, not with the other noun, it means that these both nouns are for one person. And if the article is used with both nouns, so it means one person is another person and the second person is second person. For example, here see the orator and the statements are dead. So here the before orator and the before statement. So though two articles are used. When two articles are used, it means these are two different persons. And when these are two different persons, you see the verb is plural. So be careful about this. Next rule, if two subjects together express one idea, the verb will be in the singular. Sometimes two subjects can present one idea. In this situation, you will always have to go for the singular verb. How? Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy. What does make a man healthy? Early to bed makes a man healthy. Early to rise makes a man healthy. So the idea of both subjects, subject number 1, early to bed, subject number 2, early to rise. These two subjects produce one idea. And what is the outcome of early to bed? What is the outcome of early to rise? Makes a man healthy. So we cannot say that. हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि early to bed and early to rise, they are two different subjects. So verb must be make. Early to bed and early to rise make a man healthy. That's not right. Why? Because the idea is same. Idea is same. Both subjects express one idea. Both subjects produce one target. Therefore, the verb must be singular. Similarly, slow and steady wins the race. What wins the race? Slow. What wins the race? Steady. So slow and steady, these are two subjects, but they produce one idea. Therefore, the verb must be singular. जिस तरह आपको याद हो, दो और दो चार होते हैं. 2 and 2 makes 4. Next, if singular subjects have each or every before them, the verb is usually singular. So यहाँ पर भी आपको ये चीज क्लियर होनी चाहिए कि जब भी किसी नाउन के साथ each आए, each student, each teacher, each room, each car, each class, each country, each city, or every student, every car, every country. So when there is each or every, the verb must be singular. जब each or every sentence में noun के साथ आ जाए, so then there will be no confusion. You will always have to use singular verb. Look at here, every man, woman, and child was lost. So here up, you must be thinking that man is separate, woman is separate, and child is separate. So three different people. So when the people are three, why can we use was? We must use were, like every man, woman, and child were lost. No, every man, woman, and child was lost. Each day and each hour brings its duty. So when there is each or every, the verb must be singular. You cannot use plural verb like every man and every woman and every child were lost. It is wrong. So अगर question आए आपके साथ इस तरह के question, तो you will have to see every. Next rule says that two or more singular subjects connected by or, nor, either, neither, or nor take a verb in the singular. अगर subjects के दरमियान में और आ जाए, or, nor, either, neither, or nor take a verb in the singular. So you don't have to be confused. जब आपको or, nor, either, neither आए, you will have to go for the singular subjects. Neither Harry nor Ravi has come. So you can say that Harry is one subject, Ravi is another subject. So यहाँ पर तो have आना चाहिए, but no, because of the neither, nor, or, you will have to go for the singular subject. No knock or corner was left unexplored. Next rule, when the subject joined by or, nor, or of different numbers, the verb must be plural and the plural subject must be placed next to the verb. Harry or his brothers have done this job. So when there are different numbers means that one subject is singular and one subject is plural. So you will have to go for the plural verb. See here, what is before or? That is what? Harry. What is before, after or? His brothers. So these are two different subjects, two different numbers. Here, this story was not there. This is singular. This is also singular.